on a hotel in 2010. So they started the process in 2010 of trying to replace the cesspool down at the beach with a wastewater treatment system. So that's the two septic tanks and the leach field. And page one was the design that we were shown, and we conducted inventory survey in 2014, 2015. And that's the second page that shows our test units and trenches. During our AIS, we found 3 historic properties. One burial site, or burial feature, and 1 burial pit. We also found a rock wall and the remnants of a rock wall, buried rock wall, and then some cultural layers. There was disturbance, but everything was still intact. So once the burial feature and burial pit were identified, that would be this here. Burial was preserved, and there was a burial notice that was put out in 2014. The burial was preserved, the burial pit was preserved, and the leach field was redesigned. Subsequent to that redesign, this all was accepted in about 2016. The preservation plan, the monitoring plan, and the AIS report. Those were all around 2015, 2016. And when we started work in 2017, November, this was the new design of the leach field, which actually pulled it a little further away from our burial preserve that was established during the AIS. One of the reasons that I understand that this was designed, the EPA has been changing their rules since 2010. So every year, I guess they change maybe the size or the capacity. I'm not really sure what the rule changes are, but they have been changing them while Travasa has been going through this process. So this was the suggested change for the leach field. And then when we went out there to start the construction, another change was made. And the landowner, it thought that this change would be less digging. And it's a true statement. The tanks didn't have to go as deep. Before they were positioned in a slope, and they had moved them just a little bit further down the slope. And that's this page right here.
Is that deep?
Yes. So, and it just shows moving. We have this tank 1 and tank 2 in red. But that's where those will be located. Now, when we excavated tank 1, no problems. That monitoring was conducted. There was no findings, and the tank was put in. During excavations for tank 2, we identified a burial feature as well as 2 burial pits. So work was stopped there. SHPD was notified, and we discussed redesigning and relocating the tank. So that is the position of the red tank 2 now. That was the new site that was found. And tank 2 was excavated. There were no findings, and that tank went in. Now during the leach field, excavations were performed in there, and there was 1 burial that was found, and that's feature 7. And that burial was disturbed during the excavations. We're not sure if it was previously disturbed somewhat, but we do know it was disturbed during the excavations of the leach field. One of the things that I did forget to mention was back in 1987, the Bishop Museum did a field inspection out here, and they had identified skeletal remains in a couple stockpiles. And I guess what happened was when the bathroom facilities were built, back in the day, they didn't have monitoring. And one of the personnel that was down there said that there were plenty burials identified when they were doing their original construction. So we did anticipate during the AIS as well as during the monitoring that we would find previously disturbed skeletal remains as well as burial features, and that did occur. So once we had the feature 7 find, which was the last find, they did relocate the leach field a little bit further south and have established a preservation area. This is all temporary, it's not set in stone yet. Are proposing to set a preservation area up next to the current preservation area, and it will contain the features 4 through 6 that were identified in the tank 2. And the proposal is to place feature 7 into the original preservation area. So that's just kind of a quick update right now. We did have one burial pit during the inventory survey. They were preserved in place. During monitoring, we found 2 burial features, 2 burial pits, and one of those burials they are asking for relocation.
Is the TR6 under trenches?
Yes.
I don't know if they're exactly the same scale, but TS7 falls right in where those. What was the depth of these trenches in the test?
Let's see, they would have gone to approximately, about a meter, 1.2, so about 4 feet, 4 to 5 feet deep.
And TS7 well.
TS7 was 3 feet, I believe. Yeah, this is close. The test trenches are close. The size might be a little large. Yeah, feature 7 was found 1 meter, about 3 feet. And feature 4, which was a burial pit, that was identified about 3 feet below the surface. Feature 5, which was the burial, that was identified at about 7 feet below surface. And feature 6, the other burial pit, was identified about 6.5 feet below surface.
And in the leach field area, what was the greatest testing depth you guys did?
The where it is now,
In the new design?
we went up to just about 4 feet below surface, and that's the base.
And TS4 through 6 was all found there.
All found deeper, or 5 and 6 were found deeper, a little bit further Malka.
Leach field was previously disturbed soil, or
There is some previously disturbed soil on top, but there is what we would say virgin or in situ below.
4, 5, and 6 had the same type of layer area?
Yes, yes. The upper disturbance is what contains the previously disturbed bone and, plastic, metal, what
But
have you.
in the undisturbed area, you found 4, 5, and 6 at 6 feet.
Yes. One was at 3 feet, and then the rest were 6 and 7 feet.
Could you,
Excuse me. Is it proper to answer a question?
Not just yet, hang on, you can, say
Because
something in
I
your
don't
testimony.
understand what you say, burial features, burial, what does
We,
that,
we can,
A burial, an individual,
what is it, a baby or child, part of it,
adult,
fragments?
7 was a baby.
and an adult and a child, or infant and child.
that is 4.
So feature 7 was considered a 1-year-old, so it falls kind of within, the categories that we have infant, child. And feature 5 was an adult.
It's possible for one bucket then to pick up the,
Yes.
but 4, 5, and 6 is what?
5 was an adult. 4 and 6 were burial pits. 5 and 7 are actual burial interments.
And 7 was at 3 feet.
Yes.
Possible.
is someone from the hotel here?
Yes. Dave Roth.
Okay,
Here.
thank you. Because looking at this design right now with the leach field, how are we going to use, you went down to 4 feet.
Yes.
How can we know if there are burials below that? And I know you said the base is gonna be, you said base was 4 feet,
Yes.
but to have burials under that, it's not acceptable. So I guess what I would want to ask the hotel representative, Mr. Roth, is, are there other alternatives to this proposed system, septic system?
There really hasn't been, as Lisa mentioned, we've spent a number of years doing this. The Department of Health has changed their rules and regulations on the size of everything. We knew right off that there was potential for this issue, that it may stop entirely, but our goal was to be able to accomplish it, to have everyone be better. So at this point, there really isn't. There's no room to move the leach field. The Department of Health has conceded in letting us size down the leach field. We're doing the double tank aerobic system to make the effluent as pure as it can be. And there's just not a lot of room to adjust.